The Norman kingdom, a formidable power that rose from the remnants of Viking incursions, played a pivotal role in shaping medieval European history. Emerging from the Duchy of Normandy in the early 10th century, the Normans embarked on a series of military conquests and cultural transformations that left an indelible mark on the continent. Their influence extended from the British Isles to the Mediterranean, intertwining with the fabric of European politics, society, and culture. The importance of the Normans in European history cannot be overstated. They were instrumental in the development of feudalism, the architectural evolution of castles and churches, and the establishment of administrative systems that laid the groundwork for modern governance. The Norman conquest of England in 1066, led by William the Conqueror, stands as one of the most significant events of the Middle Ages, reshaping the political landscape of England and integrating Norman and Anglo-Saxon cultures. Key figures such as William the Conqueror, who became the first Norman king of England, and Rollo, the Viking leader who founded the Duchy of Normandy, are central to this narrative. Their ambitious endeavors and strategic acumen not only secured their legacies but also catalyzed the expansion and consolidation of Norman power across Europe. This essay will explore the origins, rise, and lasting impact of the Norman kingdom, providing a comprehensive understanding of their remarkable journey from Viking raiders to rulers of a vast and influential kingdom. The story of the Normans begins in the rugged and often inhospitable landscapes of Scandinavia. During the late 8th to early 11th centuries, Norse seafarers from what are now Norway, Denmark, and Sweden embarked on extensive raids and expeditions across Europe. These Vikings, as they were known, were driven by a combination of factors including overpopulation, political instability, and a relentless spirit of adventure and conquest. The Vikings were not merely raiders, they were also traders, explorers, and settlers. Their longships, capable of navigating both open seas and shallow rivers, allowed them to reach distant shores from the British Isles to the coasts of the Mediterranean. It was during these voyages that the seeds of what would become the Norman kingdom were sown. The Viking raids on the Frankish territories in what is now France were particularly devastating. In the early 10th century, a Viking chieftain named Rollo, also known as Hrolf Ganger, emerged as a prominent leader among these Norse invaders. Rollo's formidable presence and his ability to unify various Viking groups under his command made him a significant threat to the Carolingian rulers. In 911, faced with the persistent menace of Viking incursions, Charles the Simple, king of the West Franks, sought a diplomatic solution. He negotiated with Rollo, offering him a substantial tract of land in exchange for his loyalty and protection against further Viking attacks. This agreement, known as the Treaty of St. Clair-sur-Epte, marked a pivotal moment in European history. The Treaty of St. Clair-sur-Epte formalized the establishment of the Duchy of Normandy. In this treaty, Rollo pledged fealty to King Charles the Simple and agreed to defend the region from other Viking raiders. In return, Rollo received the land around the mouth of the Seine River, which included the area that would become known as Normandy, named after the Norsemen or Northmen who settled there. Rollo and his followers swiftly adapted to their new homeland. They intermarried with the local Frankish population, adopted Christianity, and embraced the local language and customs. This cultural assimilation was instrumental in the creation of a unique Norman identity, blending Viking boldness with Frankish sophistication. Under Rollo's leadership and that of his successors, Normandy transformed from a Viking settlement into a powerful and stable duchy. The Normans retained their martial prowess and seafaring skills, but they also developed a sophisticated administrative system and built impressive fortifications. These early foundations set the stage for the Normans' future conquests and their pivotal role in shaping medieval Europe. Following the Treaty of St. Clair-sur-Epte, the Duchy of Normandy began its transformation from a Viking stronghold to a significant feudal power in medieval Europe. This evolution was marked by a remarkable blending of Norse and Frankish cultures. The Norsemen, or Northmen, quickly adapted to the local customs, adopting Christianity, learning the Romance language of the region, and integrating with the existing social and political structures. Norman society was fundamentally feudal,
structured around the relationships between lords and vassals.
The Dukes of Normandy granted lands to their followers in exchange for military service, creating a tightly knit and highly organized social hierarchy. This feudal system facilitated efficient governance and allowed the dukes to maintain control over their territories.
Several key leaders played crucial roles in the development and consolidation of Normandy before the rise of William the Conqueror.
Rollo, circa 860–circa 930, the founding figure of Normandy.
Rollo's leadership and his pact with Charles the Simple laid the foundation for the duchy.
His reign marked the beginning of the Norman transformation from raiders to rulers. William I Longsword, circa 893–942, the son of Rollo, William I continued his father's work of consolidating Norman power. His reign was marked by conflicts with neighboring counts and the Frankish kings, but he succeeded in expanding Norman influence. Richard I, 933–996, known as Richard the Fearless, he was a formidable ruler who strengthened the duchy's independence. He successfully defended Normandy against external threats, including the attempted invasions by King Louis IV of France. Richard II, 963–1026, Richard the Good, as he was known, further solidified Norman power and fostered strong relations with the Church. His reign was a period of relative peace and prosperity, which allowed for cultural and economic development. Robert I, 1000–1035, known as Robert the Magnificent, he was the father of William the Conqueror. His adventurous spirit and support for pilgrimages and the Church earned him a lasting legacy. His premature death led to William's early ascension to the ducal throne. The Normans were renowned for their military prowess, which was a critical factor in their rise to power. They adapted and refined the feudal military system, emphasizing the use of heavily armored cavalry, known as knights. These knights were skilled horsemen who used lances, swords, and shields, and their effectiveness in battle became a hallmark of Norman military dominance.
Norman military strategy also involved the construction of formidable fortifications. The Normans were prolific builders of castles, which served both as defensive strongholds and symbols of their authority.
These castles, often constructed from stone, featured high walls, keeps, and moats. The motte and bailey design was particularly favored, consisting of a wooden or stone keep situated on a raised earthwork, motte, accompanied by an enclosed courtyard, bailey. These castles provided security and control over the surrounding countryside. In addition to their military architecture, the Normans made significant contributions to religious architecture. They were instrumental in the development of the Romanesque style, characterized by rounded arches, thick walls, and sturdy piers. Norman churches and cathedrals, with their grandiose designs and intricate carvings, reflected their commitment to Christianity and their desire to leave a lasting legacy. One of the most notable examples of Norman architecture is the Abbey of Mont Saint-Michel, a stunning island abbey that became a symbol of Norman ingenuity and religious devotion. The construction of such monumental structures demonstrated the Normans' technical skills and their ability to mobilize resources for large-scale projects. The Norman conquest of England was precipitated by the death of King Edward the Confessor on January 5, 1066. Edward, a pious and relatively peaceful king, had no direct heir, which left the throne of England open to various claimants. His death created a power vacuum and set the stage for a dramatic struggle for succession. Edward's lack of an heir was partly due to his marriage to Edith of Wessex, which remained childless. Throughout his reign, Edward had cultivated close ties with Normandy, partly because he had spent a significant portion of his early life in exile there. It is believed that during his time in Normandy, Edward may have promised the English throne to William, Duke of Normandy, although this claim remains a point of historical debate. With Edward's death, Harold Godwinson, the powerful Earl of Wessex and Edward's brother-in-law, was quickly crowned king by the Witenagemot, the Council of Nobles. However, Harold's claim to the throne was immediately contested by two other powerful leaders, William, Duke of Normandy, and Harold Hardrada, King of Norway.
Both William and Harold believed they had legitimate claims to the English throne, leading to a series of military confrontations that would change the course of English history. William of Normandy, later known as William the Conqueror, prepared meticulously for his invasion of England.
He gathered a formidable army, comprising not only Normans but also soldiers from across northern France. In addition to assembling troops, William secured the blessing of Pope Alexander II, which provided religious legitimacy to his cause.
On September 28, 1066, William landed at Pevensey on the southern coast of England with his invasion force.
Meanwhile, Harold Godwinson had just defeated Harold Hardrada at the Battle of Stamford Bridge in the north of England on September 25, 1066. This victory, though significant, left Harold's forces exhausted and depleted.
Harold marched his army southward at a rapid pace to confront the Norman invaders.
The two armies met near Hastings on October 14, 1066. The Battle of Hastings was a brutal and decisive conflict. Harold's forces, primarily composed of infantry, faced William's well-prepared army, which included a significant number of cavalry and archers. The battle raged for several hours, characterized by intense combat and strategic maneuvers.
William's use of feigned retreats, a tactic to lure Harold's forces into vulnerable positions, played a crucial role in the outcome.
The turning point came late in the day when Harold was struck by an arrow, allegedly in the eye, and subsequently killed.
With their leader dead,
the Anglo-Saxon forces began to disintegrate, and the Normans emerged victorious. The victory at Hastings was only the beginning of William's effort to secure control over England. The defeat of Harold Godwinson did not immediately translate into universal acceptance of William's rule. The Normans faced significant resistance from the Anglo-Saxon nobility and local populations.
William advanced towards London, encountering pockets of resistance along the way. By Christmas Day 1066, he had reached the outskirts of the city.
Recognizing the strategic importance of securing London, William's forces laid siege to the city. The severity of the siege and the psychological impact of the Battle of Hastings compelled the remaining English leaders to submit.
On December 25, 1066, William was crowned King of England at Westminster Abbey, symbolizing the formal commencement of Norman rule.
To consolidate his control, William undertook a series of measures designed to fortify his position and suppress any potential uprisings.
He granted extensive lands to his Norman followers, thereby displacing the Anglo-Saxon aristocracy and ensuring loyalty among his new vassals.
This redistribution of land also served to entrench the feudal system, with William at its apex.
William initiated the construction of numerous castles across England, which served as military strongholds and administrative centers.
The most famous of these is the Tower of London, which began as a simple motte and bailey structure and evolved into a formidable stone fortress. These castles were strategically placed to control key areas and suppress resistance. Additionally, William commissioned the Domesday Book in 1085, an extensive survey of England's lands and resources. This survey provided a detailed record of landholdings, population, and economic assets, enabling more effective taxation and governance. The Domesday Book remains one of the most significant administrative achievements of medieval England, reflecting the Normans' meticulous approach to governance.
The Norman Conquest also had profound cultural and linguistic impacts.
The Norman elite brought with them their language, customs, and legal traditions, which gradually blended with those of the Anglo-Saxons. This cultural fusion gave rise to Middle English and left an enduring legacy on English law, architecture, and society. Following his victory at the Battle of Hastings and his coronation as King of England, William the Conqueror faced the monumental task of consolidating his power and establishing effective governance over his newly acquired realm.
Central to this effort was the implementation of the feudal system, a hierarchical structure that organized society around the granting of land in exchange for military service and loyalty. Under the feudal system, William redistributed large swaths of land to his Norman supporters, effectively displacing the Anglo-Saxon nobility and consolidating power in the hands of his loyal vassals.
These nobles, known as barons or lords, in turn granted smaller parcels of land, or fiefs, to knights and lesser nobles in exchange for their military service and allegiance. This system ensured a network of loyalty and obligation that bound the kingdom together under William's rule.
William also established a centralized system of governance to administer his vast domains. He appointed loyal administrators, often Norman nobles, to oversee local affairs and collect taxes.
These officials, known as sheriffs, played a crucial role in maintaining order and enforcing the king's laws. Additionally, William convened councils of his barons and bishops to advise him on matters of state and lawmaking, further cementing his authority as the sovereign ruler of England. One of the most visible and enduring legacies of William the Conqueror's reign is the construction of castles and fortifications throughout England. Recognizing the strategic importance of fortresses in maintaining control over his newly conquered territory, William embarked on an ambitious building campaign to erect strongholds that would serve as both symbols of his authority and bastions of defense against potential rebellions.
The Normans introduced innovative architectural techniques and designs that revolutionized castle construction in England.
They built imposing stone fortresses, replacing earlier wooden structures, to withstand sieges and resist attacks more effectively.
Motte and bailey castles,
consisting of a raised earthwork mound, motte, topped with a wooden tower, surrounded by a defensive enclosure, bailey, became ubiquitous across the English landscape. These castles were strategically positioned to control key points of access, such as river crossings, roadways, and coastal regions.
They served as military garrisons, administrative centers, and symbols of Norman dominance.
Notable examples include the Tower of London, Windsor Castle, and Durham Castle, each showcasing the Normans' architectural ingenuity and military prowess.
In addition to fortifications and governance reforms, William commissioned the Domesday Book, a comprehensive survey of England's lands, resources, and population.
Completed in 1086, the Domesday Book provided invaluable insights into the kingdom's economic and social landscape, facilitating more efficient taxation, administration, and governance. The Domesday Survey was meticulously conducted, covering every county, town, and manor in England.
It recorded detailed information on landholdings, livestock, agricultural productivity, and population demographics.
This data allowed William and his administrators to assess the kingdom's wealth, identify sources of revenue, and ensure the equitable distribution of resources. The significance of the Domesday Book extends beyond its practical utility as an administrative tool. It stands as a testament to the Norman commitment to order and organization, reflecting their meticulous approach to governance and their desire to exert control over their new territories. The Domesday Book remains one of the most valuable historical records of medieval England, providing invaluable insights into the Norman conquest and its impact on English society. While the Norman conquest of England is perhaps the most well-known chapter of their history, the Normans also exerted significant influence in other parts of Europe, particularly in Italy and Sicily. In the late 11th and 12th centuries, Norman adventurers embarked on ambitious campaigns in southern Italy, seeking to carve out territories for themselves amidst the political turmoil of the region. Led by figures such as Robert Guiscard and his younger brother Roger I of Sicily, the Normans achieved remarkable success in Italy. They gradually conquered territories previously held by Byzantine, Lombard, and Muslim rulers, establishing the foundations of the Kingdom of Sicily and the Norman Principality of Antioch. Norman rule in Italy and Sicily was characterized by a blend of military prowess, administrative skill, and cultural assimilation. The Normans adapted to the diverse ethnic and religious landscape of the Mediterranean, forging alliances with local leaders and incorporating elements of Byzantine, Arab, and Latin culture into their own. The Kingdom of Sicily, in particular, became a vibrant center of Mediterranean trade and culture under Norman rule. The Normans encouraged the arts, literature, and architecture, fostering a cosmopolitan society that attracted scholars, merchants, and artisans from across Europe and the Middle East. The Normans also played a significant role in the Crusades, the series of religious wars waged by European Christians to reclaim the Holy Land from Muslim control.
Norman knights and nobles joined the ranks of the Crusader armies, motivated by religious fervor, the promise of land and wealth, and a thirst for adventure. Norman participation in the Crusades was multifaceted.
They fought in battles across the Levant, from the First Crusade's capture of Jerusalem in 1099 to the campaigns in Antioch, Edessa, and beyond.
Norman leaders, such as Bohemond of Taranto and his nephew Tancred,
emerged as prominent figures in the Crusader states, shaping the course of events in the region. The Norman Crusaders left a lasting legacy in the Holy Land, establishing feudal fiefdoms and fortifications that would endure for centuries. Their exploits and adventures in the East, immortalized in chronicles and epic tales, contributed to the romanticized image of the Crusades in Western history and culture. The Normans made significant cultural and architectural contributions wherever they went, leaving their mark on the landscapes of England, Italy, Sicily, and beyond. In England, they introduced Romanesque architecture, characterized by massive stone structures, rounded arches, and intricate carvings.
Norman cathedrals, such as Durham Cathedral and Norwich Cathedral, stand as majestic monuments to their architectural prowess. In Sicily, the Normans fostered a rich cultural exchange between East and West, resulting in a unique fusion of Arabic, Byzantine, and Norman influences. Palermo, the capital of the Norman Kingdom of Sicily, became a cosmopolitan center of art, architecture, and learning. The Norman rulers patronized scholars, poets, and artists, promoting a vibrant cultural renaissance that flourished amidst the diverse communities of the island. Despite their initial successes, the Norman kingdoms faced internal conflicts and succession crises that weakened their grip on power. In Sicily, the death of Roger II in 1154 sparked a succession struggle among his heirs, leading to decades of instability and fragmentation. The Norman Principality of Antioch also succumbed to internal strife and external pressures, ultimately falling to Muslim conquest in 1268. In England, the Norman dynasty faced challenges from rival claimants and external threats. The death of William the Conqueror in 1087 led to a succession crisis, as his sons William II and Henry I vied for the throne. The Norman line was eventually succeeded by the Angevin dynasty, led by Henry II, who married Eleanor of Aquitaine and established the Plantagenet dynasty. The Plantagenets, though descended from the Normans, brought new influences and rivalries to English politics. Their rule marked a transition from Norman dominance to a broader Angevin and later Plantagenet hegemony over England and much of France. Despite their eventual decline, the Norman kingdoms left a lasting legacy that continues to resonate in European history and culture. Their military conquests, cultural exchanges, and architectural achievements shaped the medieval world and laid the foundations for the modern nations of England, Italy, and Sicily. The Normans' legacy lives on in the laws, language, and institutions of the regions they once ruled. Their impact on European architecture, literature, and art endures, reflected in the grand cathedrals, towering castles, and epic tales that bear witness to their remarkable journey from Viking raiders to rulers of kingdoms. The Norman kingdoms may have faded into history, but their influence remains an integral part of the tapestry of European civilization. The Norman conquest of England, in particular, transformed the trajectory of English history, laying the foundations for the centralized monarchy, legal system, and administrative structures that endure to this day. The Normans' influence extended far beyond the British Isles, shaping the development of Italian and Sicilian society and leaving an enduring legacy in European architecture, art, and literature. As we reflect on the Norman legacy, we are reminded of the resilience, adaptability, and ingenuity of the human spirit. The Normans' ability to overcome adversity, forge alliances, and embrace cultural diversity enabled them to rise from obscurity to prominence on the stage of European history. Their legacy serves as a testament to the power of ambition, innovation, and collaboration in shaping the course of human events. The Norman kingdoms may have faded into history,
but their spirit lives on in the institutions, languages, and cultural heritage of the regions they once ruled.
In the final analysis, the Norman legacy reminds us of the interconnectedness of human history and the enduring impact of individuals and civilizations on the world around them.
As we continue to study and celebrate the achievements of the Normans, we honor their memory and acknowledge their role in shaping the rich tapestry of European civilization.